What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's a massive show today because I have our expert trader from the Mars High Club Community Paradise back on the channel. We had him on last week. We're getting him on again today to run us through the markets because there's a lot to talk about. We obviously have CPI later. The markets are still chopping sideways. Obviously, everyone's wondering what's going to happen to altcoins. So today we're going to dive into the crypto markets, look at some of the strongest setups in the market, weakest setups in the market, and hopefully give you guys a little bit of a bearing on what could potentially come next and how to play it over the coming days and weeks. Welcome back, Paradise.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me.
Last week was a good show. I think people seem to enjoy it. So we're bringing you back. We're probably going to make this a weekly thing for now. So hopefully people also enjoy today and get a little bit of I guess solace in the charts, right? Because a lot of people are a little bit confused at the moment. Some people feeling despondent. So I think today will be a good kind of resetter for people to think about the markets a little bit more logically.
I am seeing a lot of despondence on the timeline, so fair dues.
Let's kick it off with Bitcoin. I think that's a good place to start. We have CPI later. So this is, potentially you're watching when the news is coming out. Is that affecting the way you're trading, or are there some structural things you're looking at nonetheless?
CPI with me, because I'm in Australia, I'm generally asleep when it drops. So usually my thing is to de-risk into it on perps anyway, just because there's no point really. I don't have any edge in trying to hold it overnight. It's just over management. I usually wake up and whatever direction's chosen, I usually find a setup within that, whatever time frame. Intraday at the moment, what I'm watching is, we broke this market structure last night. We left these equal lows here. Now we've also formed this sort of, W bottom here this morning. It's left more equal lows. So there's a little liquidity down here. Kind of looking for like a retracement up to this H1 imbalance, which is in the Fibonacci golden pocket, that region. Potentially short down to take out these equal lows here. It's an intraday move and possibly extend that down to the range low. And that range low is where I'm looking to open a bigger swing position. This 94K low. We've also got the quarterly open down there. Quite a wide stop you can see because it swings, position. And basically it's targeting the range high and possibly these internal liquidity points within it. I think if we lose this 94K low, then we'll probably take out this low and maybe even lower down to the high 80Ks. I'm not sure. There's a fair bit of liquidity down there too. So just playing at, lower time frame charts for now. And I'm not really opening anything into CPI, but if we get some sort of push up into this and start selling off, I might look to open a short there intraday.
Because it looks like we're still getting lower highs on Bitcoin, right?
This is actually, I posted a video about this to the group this morning. I was saying it's been a really tricky range because market structure is not really flowing anywhere. It's making lower lows and higher highs and completely ripping both sides of that instantly. It's a hard market to trade in this range here. So I think waiting for the extremes is probably a better idea for most people. But kind of made a higher high here just, and then kind of made a lower high, a higher low here just. So it's a bit janky. I'm not entirely convinced on this short here, but that's why I'm just leaving alerts for it and no limit orders. We'll kind of assess it when it comes to it.
It's pretty crazy how just this sideways chop, like within this range that we also spoke about in the last show, has really like caused panic in the markets. Obviously, that's largely due to the fact that a lot of altcoins have taken a big beating, but I think there's definitely an element of time capitulation here where like the longer we chop for, the longer we go sideways, just the more bored people get and everyone's kind of just leaving.
100%. This may well be the price bottom over here. This wick at 91K was, probably not the time bottom. We probably could well chop around here for a lot longer. And this is what tears people apart. Like these big dump capitulation wicks, they usually have some sort of mechanical bounce, like a V reversion, and like they're not as bad as like this. This slow sideways bleed is what tears people apart. And like, look at this here. You had this massive move up. I'm sure a lot of people thought, I'm missing this move. People would have FOMO bought the top of this and it instantly reversed down. Did the old like Burj Khalifa pattern, and then just went sideways. And this pattern's sort of just rinse and repeat at the moment. So it's kind of what I've been preaching to people. Just wait till we hit either extremity and you can sit on your hands until then, or you can trade lower time frame on things that are showing volatility or narrative, like by using screeners or spaghetti charts or whatever.
And we'll discuss a few today. There are a few alts which are outliers and are still looking decently strong. What are you seeing on the Bitcoin high time frame charts? You mentioned before we could, if we did break that low, potentially look at the high 80s. Be interested to see what you're seeing on like the weekly and the daily chart.
Yeah. So these black lines here, it's just the support resistance range high and low. Basically, we have a lot of untapped liquidity down here. I spoke about this in the last show. This is a weekly imbalance down here. I think if we start losing that low I talked about, then this is all fair game because we have a big pocket of equal lows down there too. We go to the 3-day. You can see all these untapped lows within this imbalance. If the market's lacking any sort of news or narrative, like I said last time, then we're going to need to gather liquidity if we want to push to either side. And for now, it's pretty much this is where I would suspect there being enough liquidity to sort of be able to generate a move to at least the range highs again. So yeah,
so 91K is the level to hold.
91K to hold, but really probably this week is where I'd start considering if we lose that. So 91,300, so pretty much 91 ballpark. Yeah, we start closing below this level. You can see even on the 3-day here, we have not had a single close below this level. All wicks being bought up. We start closing below that, and I think we definitely visit in here, and yeah, that's going to be scary for a lot of people. So it's kind of good to have the anticipation we may go down there so you can prepare or at least not be as shocked when it happens because there's a high chance of it. And we look at prior markets, so prior cycles, prior price action on things. We generally always have like the big, deep, like savage wick to take things out before you get the reversion up. So lots of build up, lots of chop. Eventually get that one wick that really like, scares people. And then that's bought up and that's often the sort of inflection point.
We already got that on alts, I think, but I think what's happened is people have become very sensitive to the alt market as a beta. So the alts sold off before Bitcoin. So it'll be interesting to see what does happen if Bitcoin wicks down, whether the majority of that, selling is already out of the alts or whether we get more downside. I mean, I personally think if we went into the 80s, alts would probably see a lot more downside, probably like some alts on chain, 50%. Maybe some of the alts, on the centralized exchange is a bit less, 20, 30%. But the reason I say this, as you pointed out before, that's not to like scare people because we don't know if price is going down here. It's simply to have a framework. Like if we did go down there, hypothetically run yourself through the situation, is my current portfolio going to survive? And would you even consider adding to those positions if we went down to 82, 85? Because it's all about having a plan dependent on what happens in the market. And if the answer is like you'd be scared and you're not comfortable in your altcoin positions, if we did end up tapping that liquidity, then you probably have to consider making some moves, either maybe moving up the risk curve a little bit from riskier stuff into slightly safer stuff that's going to drop less, or going a bit heavier into stables when we do get pumps. That's something that I've personally been doing. Like we saw a pump a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday morning, and I used that as an opportunity. And I also said this in the Discord at the time to actually secure some liquidity because the market hasn't really fully reversed yet. So any major pump that I've had into the money noodle indicators or high time frame levels, I've kind of used as a bit of a chance to rebalance, make sure I'm in quality. And until there is a concrete trend reversal, I'm kind of fading the moves, but I'm happy to kind of get back in on a show of strength. That's pretty much what I've personally been doing. But I think it's just a good moment now that that we're chopping sideways for people to just consider, what would you do if price went down there, and have a plan for that. It may not, and I hope it doesn't, but just have the plan, so you're prepared.
Yeah. I got to say, if price goes down there, a lot of alts will never recover, and that's probably a great thing for the greater market. As much as it would hurt many people's investments, like we need a lot less alts out there, like for the capital dispersion. So it's kind of a silver lining in that. But yeah,
I want to ask you a question on the topic of this, like an official confirmed reversal. How do you go about, like, let's say there's an altcoin that you want to buy and you could use Bitcoin as the example. The charts don't really matter here. If there's an altcoin you want to buy, would you start averaging in as price goes down, aka knife catching, or would you do what I discussed before and like wait for a reversal? And on a more technical note, what do you consider to be a reversal? Because obviously we hear a lot of that talk, like, oh, I'm going to buy on a confirmed reversal. How does that actually look like on the charts? What is a reversal, and how would you look to play that in terms of longing? Because I'm getting a lot of questions in the Discord and on the YouTube, like, okay, now I'm out of the market or I'm heavier in stables. Like, when do I buy again? Like, should I buy now? Should I wait? I'd love your insight on that from a technical point of view.
I'm not much of a knife catcher. I do so on perps sometimes when I'm on super low time frame, but that's for like reversion trades. So I'll just in and out quite quickly. Just try to catch the sort of Dalai Lama wick into liquidity thing. But in terms of adding for spot, I usually just use a combination of the noodle with let's pick a random chart. Something with some history. Yeah, I generally just look for confirmation of key levels. So one of my favorite setups ever is the deviation reclaim. Was posting this, but this is effectively a deviation here on virtual. Previously an extremely strong market that really got sold off. What I'm looking for with these things is a deviation, then acceptance back above a support that was lost. So down here, I'm not looking to add anything. And this is just me. Some people will be building down here, getting a better entry, but I often say, because I'm predominantly a trend trader for spot. So when I say to people in the group, as trend traders, you're never catching the bottom or the top. You're generally just catching the meat and the move. Once trends are established, you're hopping on board. But my process for buying spots, usually on the daily chart or 12-hour or higher, I'm just looking for reclamation of key levels, and then I look for some sort of at least like minimum the 4-hour noodle to be reclaimed at those levels. So effectively now in virtual, this could be if I was interested in buying this market, this is somewhere I could look to maybe add a bit of spot. We've reclaimed the key level here. That's confirmed deviation. Maybe not so confirmed on the, I suppose it is on the daily. Reclaim the noodle as well. Stochastic, I'm generally looking for a reset down the bottom. We kind of got the reset in the deviation. So now I've kind of looked for this to consolidate around here and go sideways. And during that time, I'd look for this to kind of come up here and then come back and do a reset and sort of add more. But what should happen really is this to form a range in here. And even if that range is quite big, like it's between these two levels, that's fine. I'm just looking for an accumulation range. And each time we come down to the bottom, I'm looking to add a bit more.
The longer it accumulates, the more validation you have, right, on that level being respected versus like buying now, for example.
It's also a thing of like mine validation is super simple. So if we do just decide to go up here and I've bought, one order there, 33%, and then we started to flip this level and accumulate up here, I'm like, right, we've reclaimed another level. I didn't get my orders down here, but I can add. But generally what I'm looking to do is just add, 33% buyers or 50% buyers, depends how long I want to space it out and how long we range for. At the range lows, and then my invalidation is super simple. We start losing this and get acceptance back under the level on the daily time frame or whatever I'm accumulating on. Then I can de-risk and maybe target down here. So my spot strategy is very different to how I trade intraday, obviously. Less aggressive, taking my time, but it's just pretty much down to the noodle and high time frame levels. So if I really wanted to
need
exactly
momentum,
simple trending indicator and simple horizontal lines, that's all you need. So this already is looking quite good to me on virtual. Maybe it is something I would consider. AO16Z put in the same pattern. This isn't the official chart history. So this is not the full chart history. I'm on the wrong chart, but this is a SR level over here. And this, once again, it's a deviation. You can call it an over-under setup, whatever you want. It's also something I trade on perps a lot. Once we lose a level and reclaim it, it's still on a much lower time frame. But AO16Z is really good. And, sure enough, just a simple support resistance level. Next one marked up here in a high time frame. That's exactly where we rejected from. It's also the daily noodle outer band retest. And it's actually kind of attractive right now. It was, the strongest market yesterday. It's now coming into daily demand, which is also this nice 4-hour demand pocket. The 4-hour noodles there coming in for a stochastic reset down the bottom. So this is effectively a market I could look to pick up a little bit of spot on and trade that up to here, assess how we react there. If we react well and flip this level, can mark it up to this level, maybe take profit there, but also this is somewhere I could open a perps trade and try to ride the noodle, the 4-hour noodle up for like a swing trade on perps. So kind of, cover both bases there. I think this looks stronger than most.
there's just been a lot of selling. Like, and I think I'm kind of getting the vibe with a lot of alts that most of the selling is exhausted. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean if Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes down to like 90K, 85K, 87K, people are going to find a reason to sell, and they're also going to short. So you get that, perp selling affecting the chart. But the point I'm making is, I think a lot of the weak hands that were trading this coin or didn't really have conviction, and same goes for hundreds, thousands of coins in the market. Most of these people have already had a chance to sell, and by now probably would have sold. So we are in an interesting environment now where if there is good news, so if we get good CPI print, if Bitcoin goes up, these things can reprice quite aggressively to the upside. I think after those moves, I would be looking at I would be selling spot into that volume, because I don't know in terms of a longer term catalyst if we have many right now. Obviously, that it's going to become apparent in the coming weeks and months whether something comes and gives the market directionality. But for now, I would be looking at maybe some like impulses if we get good news short term, and then I would probably take profits and then just see where the market sits after that. That's kind of how I'm playing the longs right now, because I'm not fully convinced yet on the overall market directionality to pour back into like heavy spot positions. For me, it's either we get reclaims and I take some considered positions, or we get lower and then I can buy in on another capitulation wick. So it's personally just how I'm trading spot.
What you're saying there is exactly the same process I was just mentioning with the spot. If we range in here for a long time, then your opportunity to buy a spot here, you can also use the same logic to de-risk spot here that you already own. We're just ranging. You're looking to take profit every time we hit into resistance, and resistance is resistance till proven otherwise, and vice versa. I think a good indication of where we are and how far we could go is the total 3 chart, and others as well. It's like this is a squiggle I did last week with you on the chart. I don't think we're going to V reverse out back in the new highs. I think we're just going to chop here for a while and consolidate, and others looks much the same, right? I think it's going to do this. Therefore,
if that happens, people are going to lose their minds. I mean, if
investors will lose their
minds,
investors
already.
Will lose their minds. Yeah, traders will have a field day with this. This is great for us. That rally yesterday, that was actually something I posted in the group like 2 or 3 days ago, saying, because we had this little burst. Let's see if I can pick it. Basically, what we're seeing,
traders market at the moment.
100%. Yeah, what we're seeing was heaps and heaps and heaps of these AI agents and memes and whatnot, 90% down from their highs. And these things were, the bee's knees just a couple of weeks ago. They all started putting these 4-hour divergences at the bottom. We also saw like negative news being absorbed on a lot of them. Things have wicked down, just immediately bought up. So news is failing to push them lower. And we're also seeing like heavy short interest on things. So I put a post in the group saying these things are probably due for a squeeze very soon. And it was pretty much on this burst here. I think I posted that because it just looked like it was building up. And if you look at like derivatives data, you can see it. And since then, we had that rally up, and we're going to get the same thing happen. Like the longer we range on Bitcoin sideways, we don't start taking out liquidity and moving to either side of the range. The longer we're just going to do basically what I showed in the total 3 and others chart just then. Going to range in Bitcoin, and then people are just going to get really impatient, and we're going to have like these micro rallies. So if you're a trader, or if you're looking to learn to trade, like now's the time, because you need to take advantage of these things, these legs, and then and
I'm going to use this as an opportunity to shamelessly shield the Mars High Club.
Yeah, go on.
I have to use my opportunity, because you do post all these setups as you're taking them live, and you do also live trade updates, etc. in your trading section. It's not just you, by the way. We have Doc, we have Moran, they're on more like swing trade, high time frame trading. We have Fabian on the small cap. So we've got lots and lots of traders in the group. But for the ones that are specifically interested in learning your system, you've got your market commentary channel for general stuff. Honestly, some very, very cool stuff, like educational content.
Yeah, I'm going stupid with the education stuff. I recorded 3 videos today. I think it's just like,
it's crazy. The value is crazy. I feel like not everyone's using it. Like if you're in Mars High Club and you're not using this stuff, like change that today, because there is so much education that Paradise is doing. Well, I'm going to say for free. Obviously it's a paid group, but for free if you're in the group. It's insane. Like the amount of stuff you're dropping. So I recommend checking it out.
Dude, who is our moderator, or our manager, he has this idea. He wants 1,000 hours of content that we can put on the WAP for people to go through. So I'm kind of just like taking his bet on that. I think Moran and I are recording like a heap of education stuff. We're actually opening, like Moran and I are working together with Dude to open the Traders Hub, which I haven't announced yet in the group, which I should do later. We're basically setting up like a little forum channel. So there's going to be like, because since I've been posting this education stuff, and since, you know, everyone's echoing the fact that it's a trader's market, heaps and heaps more people have been hitting me up to learn to trade. And I keep seeing like the trading talk channel's blown up lately, and it wasn't before. It's been awesome. So now we're building like the Traders Hub, and that's going to be, you know, back testing together, reviewing strategies together, members posting their setups. So finally going to have a place to do that. More and I are going to go through and validate and give feedback on things, kind of like live trading sessions. So it's kind of well overdue to have that. But, you know, when we open, we're sort of more of an investors type group. Now I think more people want to learn to trade and then sort of branch out and facilitate that. So yeah, super excited for that part of it.
We have our trading talk channel here, which is where everyone talks about trading, and obviously you're responding to a lot of questions. But yeah, I think the trading hub, I mean, this is news to me as well, because this is literally
we haven't even told you yet
in the Discord. I'm finding out about it for the first time, but I'm even going to probably jump in there and chuck on some trades and kind of play around with you guys, because I mean, I'm more of a spot trader, but I'm always keen to learn and improve. You know, it also helps my content becoming a better trader. So
for sure, yeah, I think everyone needs at least a base understanding to navigate the market, at least to know how to take profit and how to set invalidations. If you can just learn those two things, you can continue to be an investor. You just need at least that information.
And position sizing, invalidations, taking profit, and knowing how to correctly position size. If you can do those three things, even as a spot investor, you're golden. And it doesn't take that long to learn. Probably like 1 or 2 weeks of like hands-on stuff. You can, you know, commit the time, 30 minutes a day for like 2 weeks. You're already going to be ahead of 99% of the market. And the thing is, your competition, like, I like to think we have a community, but at the same time, the reality is your competition are the other people that aren't just watching these videos, but on Twitter, on other channels. Like, you're trading against them essentially. Maybe not if you're taking the same trades, but overall, you're trying to become better than the next person. So you need an edge. And there's many ways to develop that edge, but one simple way is just understanding risk management and knowing how to implement it. So you can have a leg up on the rest of retail, who most of them are too late. Most people are too lazy to spend 30 minutes a day for a week or 2 weeks. So if you're not too lazy to do that, think about the huge advantage that you're getting over everyone else.
Agree. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's that kind of wraps up our little shill. No, but it's good for people to know. And obviously, the first time I'm hearing about the hub as well. That's super cool. But I wanted to ask you about unlocks now. So this has been a big narrative in the market. And obviously, this always happens. You know, when there's a bearish market, people find the bearish news that kind of justifies it. And when in a bull market, people find the bullish news that justifies it. It's human nature. But one thing that is apparent is there are some pretty big unlocks. January was a big unlock month, but February's medium, and then March is much bigger. Specifically hearing a lot of talk around Solana, which has the most unlocks, 2.25 billion over the next 180 days. Then you've got Sui at 1.4 billion. So there are some big coins that a lot of people hold and trade that have some big unlocks. So I wanted to ask you, just on the charts, because I know you're not paying attention to all the fundamentals, you're mostly a trader. On the charts, what are you seeing on Solana? Is this weakness in terms of the future supply looking like it's starting to be priced in on the chart?
I mean, yeah, this sell-off's pretty ugly. This thing is like amazing at holding the weekly noodle. I was saying, I think in the first stream we did together, if you're just buying retests of this, yeah, you had to endure a lot of chop, but like this thing has just held its own the whole time. So, you know, we got to always assume it will continue to hold. If you start doubting it, then you basically flip-flop in your decisions in your system. So, you know, once again, we're retesting the basis here. In terms of unlocks, I haven't been paying attention, but like, you know, big sweep of all these highs. Whoops. Move lower. Well, right now, we're basically just at the bottom of the range again. I'll just go like a simple simple support resistance range, like, effectively bounced off that. I think 180 is the level of break we wanted to go down, but it's just diddling in the middle at the moment, which is, Solana's hard to trade right now for me because it's not giving me any actionable setups. If we were to mark out, like, just simple, I've been teaching this a lot lately, just simply mark out your high time frame levels and only look for trades around those. You get the highest probability trades around them. Solana for me right now, I can't really tell if it's priced in with the unlocks. I'm just kind of trading at low time frame. I think the hourly's got a tremendous setup on it at the moment, taking out all these equal lows and maybe run these stacked highs up here. But yeah, I think for Solana, my pretty much base case of it is like long and buy spot as close to 180 as I can. That's the plan for now.
If you want my opinion on the unlocks, I think in a bear market, unlocks are typically bearish, and in a bull market, unlocks are bullish because they get priced in, and then as soon as it's over, then price rallies. You can make the argument, even though a lot of alts are in a bear, like Solana itself is in a bull structurally from a long-term point of view. So for that reason, I'm not that worried. Personally, I'm still holding a lot of Solana, but I did de-risk just a little bit in case, because I know this is going to be a bit of overhang for a few months. It just might be slow. So like, although I don't think it's going to nuke or any of that, that's all just scare tactics on Twitter. I still think it might be a bit slow because of it. Just that overhang until it's over can kind of suppress price moves just a little bit. And for that reason, I just de-risked a little bit. I still own a lot, so one of my biggest spot bags, just so I could just have some money to play around with elsewhere where I can get a slightly higher ROI. That's personally what I did. But overall, I'm not worried, especially long term. I'm not worried, after it's flushed out of the market. But
yeah. I mean, it's Solana at the end of the day. It's not like you're, holding peanut or Mudang, hoping it bottoms out. Like, it's just the third major effectively.
I will make a point though. That's, I think, very important for people right now. I'm mostly prioritizing holding altcoins without a lot of dilution. So even Solana's relative dilution, 2.5 billion out of 100 billion, or, even more in terms of market cap, is not that crazy. It's 2.5%. But there are coins out there, especially lower caps, that are going to do 30% over the next 6 months or the next 3 months. Like, that's substantial. And especially if they don't have a strong narrative like Solana, they're not going to have enough of a bid in the current market environment to offset the amount of sell pressure. So I'm being very strict right now with making sure I'm mostly, there are a few exceptions, of course, but mostly holding altcoins that don't have a lot of dilution. So I think right now it's very important to look at tokenomics, just because in a bear market, and even if it's a bear market for 2 months, right, in a downtrend, you are going to suffer more from unlocks than in an uptrend where the buy demand offsets the unlocks. So I think right now you just have to pay a little bit more attention to that kind of stuff as usual. And I'm going to be posting a lot more of that stuff on my Twitter and speaking about it on the show just to inform you guys. But just go through your portfolio and look at the vesting schedules on all of these coins. You've got Tokenomist or Token Unlocks Calendar as one for website for the majors. For the lower caps, I love CryptoRank. It's free. Obviously, I think there's a paid version, but the free version tells you a lot. And then if you still can't find it, you can go into project white papers and run the math yourself if it's not listed. So those are the 3 tools that I primarily lean on to look at where things are unlocking. Oh, I've just moved the screen just to me, and I'll move it back.
I'm terrible with that stuff. I just pretty much just follow you and Fabian. Whatever you post, I'm like, cool, there's an unlock coming up. Good to know.
I mean, yeah, but sometimes it's good not to stress yourself out too much. It's just good. I mean, you don't hold that much spot. So for you, it doesn't really matter that much.
Not
like
anymore,
you're mostly in stables in and out,
Yeah.
right? So whereas
At the moment,
maybe for me or Fabian, who are holding half of our portfolios in spot, or, depends on the moment in the market, we have to be a bit more cognizant of it, because I don't want to be holding stuff that I'm going to get dumped on essentially.
Yeah, I also choose not to take note of it. It's a conscious decision. Try to just look at the charts and make a decision off that. Sometimes it bites me, but it's been like pretty effective for years.
It's an edge in itself. It helps not be emotional.
Analysis paralysis.
I actually
do recall that. Sorry to cut you off. There was some unlock a while ago where I de-risked my bags into it, and it just ripped. It was the bullish unlock, as you say.
Bullish unlock.
If I didn't know about it, it would have been fine. But I like what you said about unlocks in bear markets are bearish, in down markets are bearish, and vice versa. It's kind of the same with Binance listings. If you get like shitty price action and Binance's listing is generally like a sell-off pretty quick. But, in a bull market, a Binance listing is, guaranteed, almost a guaranteed long if you can get in early enough most of the time.
Recently, it's been so bad. Like all the new Binance launches.
Of course, because they're listing everything. They're listing everything. It's just this race to see who can list first.
But it's all perps. Like, honestly,
exactly.
It's doing a lot of damage for the industry. I won't go on too much of a rant here, but it is frustrating because like Binance still has the biggest pool of retail users in the space, right? So if they're aping these new launches and getting wrecked, we're just wrecking the normies that are on centralized exchanges again and again and again. The on-chain guys already got wrecked on memes, a lot of them. So they're already wary or leaving. So now we're going to wreck our centralized exchange guys as well. Like we need better... It just makes no sense because Binance is going to lose users over this. So we need better controls. Richard Tang, if you're watching this, or CZ, like we need better controls. I highly doubt it. Over what's actually listed. I mean, CZ follows me on Twitter, but yeah, unless I tagged him, he wouldn't watch. Maybe I'll clip this up. We just need better controls. We need better parameters because I understand it's a business. You want to make money, but listing stuff lower is actually better for you because more users are going to come onto the platform to get these new launches. So if over time you're launching, let's say you launch 10 coins, 9 go up, well, everyone's going to take notice of that and start opening Binance accounts and using Binance again so they can ape these new launches and you create your own little casino. But by launching everything after it's already run on Pump Fun, you're just giving money to the insiders who got it on Pump Fun instead of the users on your platform, and you're just wrecking people. So it just makes no sense. I'm really baffled by it. Honestly,
100%. Yeah, it's a good take. It's a good take.
I might clip that and put it on Twitter and tag them. I mean, I'm sure they'd be aware of this and that they'd get backlash. I know they're getting a lot of backlash, but it's not really reflecting in their actions. Yeah, I don't know if you had another comment on Bitcoin here, because I actually wanted to ask you about Binance season as well.
No, I completely faded that meme the other day. No comment. I was just reading earlier about 20 billion in altcoin OI has been wiped since this December top, which is wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I was just going to ask you about BNB because I've noticed, I think right now the market is desperate for narratives. Like there's not really been a prevailing narrative in the market for probably about a month since AI agents. And it just shows like whenever there's a little bit of a narrative, everyone jumps on it and trades it. And I think this is going to lead to a much bigger one later on, whatever it is. But it seems to be the latest narrative that popped off was Binance season. Now, I don't know how long it's going to last. It already seems to have tapered off a bit, but we had that meme go crazy. But I noticed BNB is also looking pretty strong off the back of this. So what are you seeing on the chart from a BNB point of view?
It's a weird one, man. Like this is just a massive choppy range for like, a good chunk of time now, well over a year. Just this high time frame support level has just been gold. It's just held up time and time again. I dare say a lot of this is related to the meme going the other day. But this, huge wick down, big buy up. Yeah, I mean, it looks strong right now. Look at this price action. So they had the reversion bounce, kind of sold back down, formed a really tight range, and then it's just marking up with high lows, high highs. This kind of also looks like a compression in the works here. So thank you for mentioning it, actually. Probably a break out above that in the 4 hour.
Set the alerts, bro.
Yeah, that's right. That looks good to me. I don't know where it could top out. High time frame supply level up here. Yeah, probably this.
By the way, that is such a low-hanging fruit that people still don't do. Just set freaking alerts on your charts so you know when you're getting wrecked or when you need to take profits. But no one does this.
Look at my alert tab. I've got maybe 300 set. I mean, I rely on alerts like for everything. So basically what I do every time I mark up a chart in the setup, I set alerts for 2 scenarios. So like a short and a long setup. And then I don't look at that chart again until either of them trigger and I'm notified. It just saves me so much time because what I used to do is have a watch list and I'd scan through it like I don't know, just like back and forth all day, looking to see how prices developed. Now with alerts, I have heaps more free time and I just sort of do business when they go off. So yes, extremely underrated. Make sure you get a decent TradingView account. Like I think I have premium. That gives you like 400 to 600 alerts. Can't even remember what it is now. They upped them. They gave a lot more free additional ones in the premium packages, and yeah, it's a godsend.
Yeah, it's just it would save a lot of pain, I think, for a lot of people. Even if you just set a high time frame level on a coin, at least then you'll know when it's breaking down and be able to, maneuver off the back of that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
In terms of BNB, just going back to that chart, I think a lot. Honestly, I was on Bounty Bubbles the other day. I noticed a lot of the centralized exchange coins actually held up quite well. It's an interesting trend at the moment. You've got like BNB, I think KuCoins, Gates. Obviously, Bybit has Mantle, kind of. So there's lots of these coins that actually look like they're holding up better than a lot of the on-chain stuff. And I think that's honestly because a lot of the users are on centralized exchanges, and the exchanges can kind of, I don't know if manipulate's the right word, but definitely incentivize people to use the ecosystems and use the token for certain things. So I think coins like BNB, MNT, like they're not going away because they have that user base. Most products struggle to find product market fit when a chain is connected to a big exchange. It already kind of has that initial product market fit and user base. So it's one of the reasons why fundamentally I've been bullish on Mantle recently, because obviously they've got close ties to Bybit, and they're rolling out all sort of stuff like their enhanced index fund. They're a sponsor of the show, by the way. They've come on as a show partner, and yeah, we'll dive more into this in future videos. But really cool stuff coming soon. Mantle Banking, Mantle X, and obviously having the Bybit connections kind of, I would say, has kind of protected them, and their chart probably looks a little bit better than a lot of the other L2s.
All this talk about it, now I want to look at it.
Yeah, probably one of the strongest L2s in terms of price action. I mean, after looking at this, go and check out Arbitrum and Optimism, and then you'll see exactly what I mean.
Wow, man, this thing rallies. I don't look at it that often. Sorry, I'm probably just wasting time charting this here, but yeah, it looks decent. Trying to find the support.
Well, I'm still holding spot, so let me know what.
No, it's fine. This is pretty much the high time frame resistance. A little deviation there and reclaim. I don't know what this was the other day. It's on the news. It's wild. Big squeeze. Yeah, I don't know much about it fundamentally. Like chart-wise, it looks good though.
Yeah, fundamentally, they're rolling out their 6 pillars, I guess you could call it. So the index fund, Mantle Banking, Mantle X. Yeah, they're kind of rolling out all of this stuff over the next few months and into the rest of 2025. So it's a good ecosystem. I think BNB, Mantle, in terms of like ecosystems that have close ties to exchanges, those would be the two that I'd be focusing on right now. And yeah, go chart, as I said before, chart literally right now, Arbitrum or Optimism, and you'll see the difference between like BNB and Mantle and Arb and Optimism. I'm not shitting on Arbitrum, by the way, because I think it's a decent product. But
do you want me to pull Arbitrum up?
Yeah, pull the chart up. I think it's a decent product, but it's just doing badly price action wise. Don't really know what else to say.
Oh yeah, that's horrendous. Wow.
And Optimism and all the L2s, literally all the L2s.
I mean, I assume this is the full price history. Binance was pretty quick to list it back in the day. Where are we? March 23. Sounds roughly.
I mean, you can also look at Polygon, IMX, Startnet, ZK Sync.
Yeah.
Like I think Mantle is the only one that doesn't look crap, which is why it's the only L2 that I hold right now. I hold some stacks, but I more view that as like a Bitcoin proxy than
exactly
ETH one.
I did a scan of all the ETH betas the other day, and none were looking particularly great. So yeah, maybe this puts in a little deviation and reclaims. But like, this thing is literally on the bottom. So yeah, wild. I think most ETH beta charts are looking like this at the moment. You pretty much just need to go to the weekly and not really look any further down the time frames. They all just have the same controlled sell-off. Yeah, not saying I want to bid right now.
Let's wrap up by discussing AI because, as you pointed out when we were planning pre-show, the AI tokens kind of were, well, not kind of, they were the strongest bouncers. I know they were also the strongest sell-offs, so it makes sense. But yesterday when we had that rally, they showed some signs of life, as you discussed. We've already charted AI16Z and virtual side. I think we need to do them again. But I noticed TAO was the one that actually ripped pretty hard off that week low. So wondering what you're seeing on these charts at the moment.
I think a lot of those bounces are just fueled by squeezes, right? Because there was no real catalyst for AI to pump. And people can say, yeah, they were the hottest thing before. It's like, yeah, but they also suffered 90% drawdown. So they were very quickly not the hottest thing. TAO was really good. And it was really easy. Just had to mark out these high time frame levels, high time frame SR, and it's basically, effectively the middle of a range too. But yeah. Yeah, off the lows, I think this is something I was looking at, just this sweep, although I didn't set an alert for it, so I missed it. Yeah, amazing rally up and just obviously capped at resistance at the range EQ. Who knows where it pulls back and bottoms out? I think these things just continue to range in, like I said before. But yeah, it was one of the nicer moves. It was pretty much this and AI16Z, and ARC was another one. And Griffane was really good too. It was kind of just followed the same pattern.
I think on the TAO front, the EVM, in terms of fundamental catalysts, TAO EVM has been probably the main thing that's kind of causing hype. They actually announced yesterday, or TAO Fire project building on TAO announced that they're going to be launching, and they did a strategic funding round. They're the layer for decentralized AI built on BitTensor, DCG, Barry Silver to backing them. I also invested as an angel, so I think a lot of the hype behind the ecosystem has caused, I guess, relative strength. But yeah, I like TAO longer term. I think as a play and the ecosystem, I think it's not going anywhere. And it probably has, out of all the AI coins, it has the most community. Like when I look at NIA, when I look at even like AI16Z or like these new ones, for me, TAO still has the biggest community, the biggest whales, the most loyal fan base. And I think that in crypto, I think that matters fundamentally. Yep. Like it's an attention game.
I often use this coin as an example for what a cult community is. Like basically, Murad started to popularize it recently. But like, yeah, they basically, all the Taoists, whatever, they were long down here. They didn't sell it here on this peak. They probably bought more here. Others didn't sell up here, rode this the whole way down. Probably didn't sell here either. They're just like evangelists with it. Like these coins are kind of the best to trade because they get fueled on the way up and no one's selling. So if you have no sort of adherence to it, if you have no favor for it, then it makes like, a favorable coin to trade because at uptrends, you can generally de-risk at the top quite easily. But yeah, this is one of the biggest cult communities. Like anytime I used to post a chart and use a TAO ticker, I would get memes. I would get hundreds of accounts following me with TAO in the name. Like that's how you know you're kind of in the right cult coin. And they just don't sell. Like community just holds. They hold for the long term, decades. It's wild to me, but really good if you're a trader to capitalize on that stuff.
XRP and ADA.
Yeah, exactly.
For decades.
Although, maybe TAO actually has better use case than XRP or ADA. So I think people who hold XRP and ADA aren't doing it by choice. I think the difference between them and TAO is that people want to hold TAO. XRP maybe redeemed itself this time around with the US narrative, but ADA, yeah, no excuse.
We're going to get comments about that probably. I mean, I don't think many of my viewers are big ADA fans. You mentioned Griffane before, Fartcoin. Maybe let's take a look at them quickly, see how they look.
What's this? It's probably not the full chart history. 1 sec.
I mean, I like Fartcoin as a meme. I know it has got some big listings, but it did get like really, really hammered on that drawdown.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think people are wondering what to bid now. You don't really need to wonder. I think the market's showing you what's going to outperform. Like, let's just picture BTC rated those high time frame 94K lows I was talking about at the beginning of the stream. let's picture it did that tonight, and BTC started like ripping back into the range highs and whatever, even beyond. Which altcoins do you think are going to follow it? I dare say it's the ones that rallied the hardest yesterday. So Filecoin is probably worth definitely having on the radar for that, as is AR16Z, all of those. But yeah, this one was an easy play. I longed this and AR16Z on futures as I started squeezing. It was just based on where they were in the market and also the amount of short interest. But it was really easy to take profit on these because just the high time frame support resistance. So that's pretty much where I de-risked on that. And I think pretty much everything in the same ilk followed the same trajectory. What I did make a mistake on yesterday was just mostly focusing on the centralized exchange coins. So I was long those, but I wasn't paying attention to like the ARCs and the Griffane's now centralized exchanges, but the other on-chain stuff that was also doing multiples, I kind of just didn't think to look at it until after. But
on-chain always rips harder on these like mean reversion bounces because they also go down more because of the lack of liquidity compared to centralized exchange coins. So they're very reflexive, which is why if you're trying to long, you probably want to look at them.
Yeah, well, note for next time. Griffane was a really easy one. I think I shared this in your last show. It was just compressing between this high time frame SR level. It's basically the lowest low. It's compressing under that and compressing under that and just going up this trend line. And that's the one I said was going to be good for a squeeze. It broke out of that, put in a nice move, but like you can see as the market started to sell off, it's pretty much retraced this entire move. So pretty much what you just said, because I still class Griffane as an on-chain coin, even though it has some decent exchange listings now.
What about ANON? Because I know ANON actually flipped Griffane at one point for market cap. I don't know where it's sitting at now, but I wonder what you're seeing on this coin. Full disclosure, I'm an investor. I've also been working with Danny. I'm actually probably going to get Danny on the show to talk a bit more about the vision here because I think there's a lot people don't know. But in terms of what we do know, which is the price action, what are you seeing on the charts?
I'm not invested in this, but I had it marked up already because people in the group are asking for it, probably because you're trading it. But it's just high time from resistance. I only need one line on the chart for this. It's pretty much here. It's kind of trading this as a deviation. I just want to see some strength above it. And I think this one actually was the noodle. That's right, yeah. 8 hour noodle. 4 hour, 8 hour. Yeah, so with the noodle, you can look at the 4 hour. It's the one I use kind of the most, but you see the general rule of thumb is to find the time frame that respects the noodle most, and that's how you ride the trend. So you can see the 4 hour kind of respects it here a couple of times, then just chops through it here, chops above it here, reversion. In here is just a mess, but the 8 hours very well respected as support and resistance dynamically. So this to me, when I see this sort of coin and I know it's on chain, the thing I look for, I don't really care about buying the bottom. Have that nice deviation or reclaim that level. As long as this support holds, I think we get above the noodle here on the 8 hour, this thing can rip because it's cap price every single time on the way down. So just want to have an alert on the noodle 4. You can set alerts on it. Basically, I just want to see us get above this roughly, let's say 9.7, give or take. That's why I'd be interested in taking a swing position on it. So I know a few bigger traders that I respect are also buying up bags on this. I just don't have any reason to yet until it starts flipping this dynamic resistance. But yeah, it's a decent looking chart. I missed your original call to buy it, so I just didn't FOMO in. I just left it.
Yeah, well, now it's coming back down, so you have a second chance. They did release their beta, which was the most recent announcement. Actually, you know how this whole BNB season was happening? If you wanted to bridge to BNB, you can actually use their interface, ANON.ai. You can use it on Telegram, and all you need to do is type in bridge all my USDT from Carver to BNB and swap it to BNB, and you can see in a minute it automatically does it. You can just type it into your phone, put your phone down, and bridge all your money to BNB just on your phone. So I think these types of products are going to do really well because I think we're heading towards more of an on-chain future where agents are taking over the majority of actions on chain, and we need this kind of infrastructure to facilitate that. And I mean, anyone that's watching this video that's bridged manually and waited and paid gas, like it's a pain in the ass. You've got to basically go onto an exchange, like buy Ethereum, put it onto your MetaMask, do it, go to a bridge, do the transaction, approve it, pay more gas. Oh, I'm out of gas, I'll add more. Wait, then do a swap, sign an approval. It takes like sometimes 20 minutes. So I think it's appealing for people fundamentally to be able to just literally log on to it like a Telegram bot, type in what you want it to do. And eventually we're going to have tech that can auto compound every week into X Vault and then take my profits and then swap it into this coin. And then every 2 weeks, auto compound 5% into X. And you can just have all these complex workflows managed by AI. It's super, super sick. Something I've been playing around with personally, but this is the first step. Just this is a simple beta, but you can already see the potential. I think eventually this stuff gets more and more powerful. So I'm still very bullish on the agent space longer term. That's why I'm placing a few strategic bets on the sector, but I definitely think a lot of it, if you're not investing longer term, you can just trade it if you want. Like AI16Z and AIXBT, I'm not in a position now, but I have been periodically. I got invalidated on the drop, but if they start trending again, I'm happy to get back in and ride the train again, because I think at some point the train leaves the station. It's just stopping temporarily as the market just finds its footing for now. Anything else you want to show before we head off here?
Just thinking. No, I mean, everyone knows how agents rallied yesterday. Honestly, the thing I'm most interested in right now is that BTC setup. But people are watching this. We've got CPI later as well, so it'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to that.
And that's going to change momentum on a
lot. Yeah. Well, the thing is, right, tariff news has been getting absorbed more and more. It's each news headline regarding tariffs has had less and less effect this past week and a bit. So it'll be interesting to see if we get bearish CPI news, how the market reacts to it, whether it's also absorbed and we, a bit of a nothing burger reaction. That to me kind of says maybe we start bottoming out and start moving up in the coming days, weeks, who knows? I'd say probably weeks. But I definitely think we need that liquidity first before we do that, if there's no catalyst on news. So yeah, mostly just focused on either pretty much catching this swing long down here for now. And if that starts moving, then I'll be on spaghetti chart or screeners or whatever, and just looking for the volatility and taking intraday trades based on that.
There is one more thing. I'm wondering if you can chart from AI. I had it written here. Vertical AI.
Yeah.
Some of you might be familiar with them as they're a show sponsor, but they just announced their new platform that's launching that basically allows you to have all your AI models in one place. So it aggregates all of them and allows you to basically build without even needing to know how to code. Specialized chatbots, workflows. We discussed before what an agent workflow looks like. You can build a custom version of that utilizing any of the existing models. So yeah, I just wonder technically how it's looking, because I know fundamentally there's some cool stuff happening.
Is this the right pair?
The
wrapped ETH pair? Cool. The thing with on-chain coins, technical analysis is kind of moot, but all you really need is support resistance and some sort of trending indicator. And if you actually know how to trade, you can outperform half the market with the stuff sometimes. I know when stuff launches, it's just based on emotions and euphoria and whatnot, but how quickly you can get in. But in terms of, these things are really simple to chart. So you're just looking for support resistance, basically, which are it's basically in a little micro range here. We can once again say this is the deviation of the lows. Everything kind of looks like this right now. Reclaim this key level. Actually kind of looks good. What's the market cap on this thing? I've never looked at it before.
I think, let me check. It might, if they've gone with the classic token distribution, it's probably 28 mil. Yeah, 28 mil. 100
Okay.
million tokens, not a billion.
We just, yeah, I'm kind of interested in it. The thing we do is we just do what I said before with the noodle, find the time frame it's respecting the most. Don't really know what it is because it's chop up here. Maybe the 4. Yeah, I think this
The reason I
choppy
brought
range
them on
at the
as a
top,
show
really
sponsor is because fundamentally this is a product like I would actually use and I will be using because I've been implementing a lot of workflows, agent workflows into my personal life, whether it be like, ideating tweets or even in the future planning shows, even my like calendar and to-do list. I'm integrating that. So I'm doing all of this stuff in my real life. So that's one of the reasons I was keen to bring them on is because this is actually stuff that I'm using. So I don't even need to like hire devs because the big problem is AI devs are expensive and in high demand at the moment. If I can just log on to a platform, go into an interface, build a model, deploy it, maybe have a developer look over it and tweak it. That's like, I mean, that's the dream, right? For people to be able to create their own custom models with like a plug and play solution. Eventually, everyone will be using agents in their daily lives, I think.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm a dinosaur. I need to learn more about this stuff. There's so much
It might
interesting
even help
stuff
your
happening. I don't
trading.
pay attention. Yeah, I was just thinking
Actually.
that agents surely will be a great use case.
Well,
for
anything
trading.
you can do, they can do. And if you're trading, if you give it all your past trades, successful ones, bad ones, it could analyze them, tell you where you went wrong, went right, improve your trading, and then also automate trading for you. And then you could build your own custom automations. And now I'm getting ideas for like we could build that and then sell it as a SaaS in the Discord. Now the business miles is thinking like, oh shit, that could be cool.
So it's going to take my
So,
job effectively, is what we're saying here.
yeah, it'll take
Classic
your job.
meme. AI's taking everyone's jobs. That's all right. Yeah, I
It
mean,
it can probably replace your voice right now. I think video is almost there. It's very close, but it's still 6 months off. But your little dog picture is not going to hold up very well, I don't think.
yeah.
You'll have to do
This
the full
thing,
doc soon.
I don't mind this thing. Hey, it's pretty cool. In terms of the chart, I just think 12-hour noodle's been holding it down. It needs to flip this, which is in line with this SR level. So I think maybe we chop around in this range for a bit, but a push up above this, like 0.35. If we get acceptance above this level and we start sort of accumulating in here, I think this actually makes for a pretty nice buy. Because what you're looking for then is the noodle to go, whoops, 1 sec. What we're simply looking for then is just, there's a lot of downtrend. We're looking for the noodle to start flattening out and then start curving up. And then price in this accumulation range to start tracking up with the noodle and just forming that uptrend. You can sort of bid, retest at different points of interest along that. But this is kind of the thing I would find on my daily scan and put it in the watch list for like a future trade. So I might even do that now, once per bar close. So we get a close above that. I'll be interested in it. But yeah, it's not a bad one. Right like this. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to go through other than
Let's try and keep it under an hour for the psychological perspective.
For sure.
Or people won't click. If you're still watching now, you're a real one. Either that or you just scrolled to the end, which also people do. But anyway,
you missed all the gold in the middle.
Yeah, you missed all the gold. Go back and watch the middle. But always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I think we'll have you on again probably next week. We're gonna make this a regular thing. Everyone kind of was asking for it in the last video, so yeah, we'll run it again next week.
For sure. Yeah, I think I don't know, in the future maybe we'll do some more educational stuff too. So we'll have some coins, maybe a bit more about the trading systems and that, so people can learn on the way. It'd be fun. But yeah, pretty much come back next week, see what the narrative is and see where we're at in the market and give an update there. Cool.
Good luck for everyone trading CPI. We'll know very soon, probably around the time this video is getting released. And yeah, I'll probably see you tomorrow on the channel, regardless.
Thanks for having me again, Miles.
See you later, guys. Peace out.